All right, Jason Hetland here once again with fortheride.com and the Rodeo Roundup. Right out front of the Thomas and Mack Center on Wednesday, night number 1 of the 2012 World Finals Bull Riding for the PBR. We have come up to the Bad Habit Monster Truck, sponsored by our good friends and great, huge sponsors of the PBR, Lincoln Welders. And not only the monster truck, but we have the driver of the Bad Habit Monster Truck, Joe Sylvester. Joe, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing, Jason? Just glad to be out here. We were here at Mandalay Bay last year at the Fan Zone Experience. That's really cool to be here at Thomas and Mack this year, representing Lincoln Welders here as a sponsor of ours and a sponsor of the series. Man, I always enjoy coming and watching these events. This is some wild stuff.
You know what's really funny is a lot of the cowboys and the fans say, you guys are crazy for doing this. And off camera, before we started doing this, you said the same thing about us. So it's kind of mutual respect, you know. It's a little bit different. It's all family, you know. Everybody helps each other out just like that. But what do you think of the talent in the 2012 PBR Bull Riding World Finals?
Oh, it's awesome, man. I was here last year, and my hat's off to them guys. I mean, the preparation and training those guys go through to hop on one of those things. You know, when I get in this, I can control it. I know what it's going to do for the most part. I can't imagine getting on something that's got a mind of its own and does whatever the heck it wants and can throw you around like you're a fly.
Yeah, you know, and you've got not only the monster truck, but you got some cool little deals here from Lincoln Welders, don't you? Let's talk a little bit about this. It almost looks like kind of a dune buggy contraption here. What is it?
Yeah, this is what we call our monster wagons. It's something new that we came up with last year. They're built in-house at Bad Habit 4x4 at our shop, where we build our monster trucks. We do a lot of custom fabrication. We build custom lift kits and stuff like that on trucks. And Lincoln was like, when you do these displays for us, we want to come up with some sort of cool way to tie in the welder displays with the monster truck. So I came up with the monster wagon. And basically, it's a fully functional 4-link suspension. It's got 4-link bars, tube chassis, and it's got little V-tread tires on it, little ag tires. And we make them for pretty much anything. We can make them for anything somebody wants to get attention for their product. You know, like this one here is slightly different from those ones because of the shape. We basically take whatever somebody wants to display, and we build a tube chassis off of it, just like on a monster truck. It's got a little cradle on the bottom there. We have our Torchmate tables, which is another company of Lincoln's. It's a full CNC program that cuts, you know, sheet metal, and we make all of our brackets on that table. We make the Lincoln Welders plates all on that table. So it's really cool. We use their product to build something to display their product. It's really neat, and they get a lot of attention.
You know, and just by looking at it, you can figure out so much. There's a lot of these bull riders and fans that own big ranches, like 600+ acre ranches, and they're out building fence and sometimes need some power. And this would be just an awesome little deal. I know you got a pull bar on this, but like you said, you can customize it to anything. So if they wanted a hitch on there to haul it behind something, you could definitely do that for them, right?
Yeah, we could. We really just started getting into these. These are the first ones that we made. And there's really probably a lot of different markets that we could get into building these for people, because it's really like an all-terrain wagon that you could pull behind a tractor or a truck or whatever. If you need to go across a 100-acre farm to go fix something, you know, you can't exactly take your welder and throw it on the back of the Rhino or something. It's just too heavy. It'd be really convenient to just already have it on a wagon. You could wheel it around your shop, then you could hook it up to a truck and wheel it all across the field. It's got working suspension on it, so it's not going to beat it up and knock the welder off the cart. So we really just kind of started to come up with some different ideas of how we can market it, and we haven't really even done much with it yet, but we plan on it in the future. You can go on our website, badhabit4x4.com, and there's some pictures of them on there. You can contact us on there, and we'll make them for anybody, for anything.
Awesome. Speaking of Bad Habit, let's turn our attention to this big bad toy that you drive on an everyday basis, man. Let's take us through a little bit of this.
This is this chassis we built in-house in 2008. This is your typical modern day Monster Jam competition vehicle. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, they were basically overgrown pickup trucks. They had big dump truck springs on them, full frames. Now that's just like any other type of racing sport, like NASCAR. They're fully tube chassis, completely purpose-built machines with a fiberglass body. It weighs about 10,000 pounds, slightly over 10,000 pounds. The tires are 66-inch tall Terra tires, which are used for agricultural purposes, combines, water trucks, and we take them and we shave them down. We shave the weight about in half on them. We cut them however we want. Like you'll see, my backs are are cut slightly different from the front. Those hook up really good on hard pack surfaces, which is mostly what we run on, but they don't turn very well, so we don't run them on the front. We run something with a little more cleat on the front so that it bites going around turns. Our suspension are 26-inch travel shocks, so we've got roughly between 26 and 30 inches of total wheel travel on these things. They fly through the air about 30 feet off the ground, make about 1,500 horsepower, and accelerate very, very fast. It gets you in a lot of trouble real quick.
Man, you ain't lying. Let's try to get a little bit of a view up underneath and see how you sit, and maybe you can explain kind of how everything works, because I know this has some dual steering for both front and back wheels, I believe, and we're just going to let you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, all monster trucks have front and rear steering, in which it's usually about 80-20 rear steer to front. Without rear steering on these beasts, there's not much you can do as far as handling and turning the trucks around. The front steering works off of a hydraulic pump off the motor, and the rear steer works off an electric over hydraulic pump. So our steering wheel cranks our front steering, and the rear steer works off of an electric toggle switch. So they both work completely independently of each other, allowing you to manipulate the vehicle, make it do whatever you want. And we sit in the middle. There's still a few left side drive trucks out there with front engine, but in most trucks nowadays we sit in the middle. It's a little bit safer. You got more roll cage around you when you roll over, because that happens quite often in today's competition. The motors are not so much in the back, but they're a lot closer to the middle of the truck for better weight distribution. The trucks are balanced out 50-50 pretty well from front to back, because the biggest part of our competitions now is freestyle and jumping, so the trucks have to be able to fly through the air and be predictable, land well, perform well. So there's a lot of technology advances over the past few years on these trucks. There's a lot of safety, a lot of new safety updates on the trucks over the years. Different new spec driveline hoops. We have wheel tether systems in case a wheel breaks off. It doesn't go flying off the truck, because one of these wheels and tires weighs about 700 pounds, and coming off at about 30 miles an hour, it can do some damage. But the USHRA and Monster Jam has put a lot of rules into effect to where that doesn't happen anymore. The wheels don't break off and go flying across the floor. If something breaks, it's all contained right on the truck. The motors are incredibly powerful. They're very, very loud. Our shows are exciting. So it's cool to be here at the PBR. It's cool to watch these events, and it's cool that those guys have a mutual respect for what we do too.
Oh yeah. And we talk about the sponsor between Lincoln Welders, the PBR and the monster truck and yourself, but there's a lot of bull riding and rodeo fans that love monster trucks too. Now I know that the Las Vegas has the monster truck world championships for the Monster Jam, right? Now what other events are you going to be at that may be televised that our fans can see you at, since they know you personally now as a driver of the Big Bad Habit?
Right. Well, we go all over the entire United States and Canada. We do a lot of shows, mostly Monster Jam, which is what you'll see on Speed Channel. It's televised quite often, and you can see this Lincoln Welder sponsored machine on Speed Channel. Not every day, but Monster Jam's on every day, and just turn it on, set your DVR, and you never know when you might catch us on there. But yeah, you're absolutely right with the tie-in between Lincoln Welders and the PBR, monster trucks. The fans here are a lot like our fans. They work on their own vehicles, they work on their farm, they work on their equipment. They need a welder that's going to be dependable. They need the generators to be able to work out in the field, and Lincoln provides all that. So it's a great tie-in for us with our fans. It's a great tie-in for PBR with their fans and the people who participate in the PBR. A lot of farm guys. It's just a great relationship for everybody.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Hetland with the Rodeo Roundup on For the Ride with the driver of the Bad Habit, Joe Sylvester. Joe, thank you so much for taking time with us. All right.